Well, first let me apologize to those who've been waiting for this overview of an AC coupled solar system. I can make excuses, I've been busy and so on. Truth is, I'm no amateur procrastinator. So, when you decide on an AC coupled system, you first have to have a plan, and a contractor will develop such a plan based on your annual power consumption. That has to be approved by the utility, and this is what really takes the longest time. Uh, the utility has to approve the plan. That can take a while. Then the contractor has to get a permit. That can take a while too, generally only a few days, whereas the utility will take perhaps weeks, maybe even a month to approve the proposal. Once you get it, the contractor will install the system, and you get to wait some more because that has to be inspected, and then back to the utility for final approval, and this has to be commissioned. The utility has to send a fella to configure your meter for bidirectional operation, and the whole process can take a lot longer than you think it should, but the result is worth it, I think. So, based on the decision to go with an AC coupled system, I had a local contractor who came in with the best price with Canadian solar panels, N-phase microinverters, and this is the plan. You can see 8 panels, 2.6 kilowatts maximum, and it doesn't take all that long to install, really, but you have to work with the contractor because they're going to want to run conduit right down the side of your house, which looks bad in my opinion. So I had a contractor that was willing to work with me, and we went through the roof decking and down the chimney chase right next to the masonry with MC, and it worked just fine. Very little is visible. There's 4 major components to the system. One is the obvious panels and the mounting system that goes with it, or racking system. And then you have microinverters, one for each panel. That's really the way to go, I think. Enphase builds the best. They invented the microinverter, and they're really, really nice. If they're partially snow covered or cloud shaded or tree branch shaded, you still can have the panels produce quite a lot of energy. It doesn't look bad from the ground. The other components, one consists of the shutoff switch, which has to be in close proximity to the meter, and you can adjust that a little bit too, but there are space constraints to deal with, and it's all about safety. They want to be able to shut that system off from right near the meter, so you got to have that switch. Then, as part of the N-phase system, you need a combiner box, which brings all of this together and backfeeds your service panel. N-phase provides some nice service too. This thing is communicating via Wi-Fi and sending data to N-phase, which they send back to you in the form of reports. You can check the system status, you can see how much energy you're producing, and so on. It's a lot of fun. We won't go into that. I can tell you that over the winter, service has been in place for about 5 months now. It's performed admirably. I thought I would get zero energy in the winter months, the dark months, with the angle of inclination wrong and covered with snow. Worst case, yeah, but honestly, the snow isn't opaque, and on the right days, the sun will warm it up and the snow just slides off anyway. But you do have short days. Over the winter, it produced. Now that it's spring, March in fact, it's way overproducing. And March electric bill was $21. It could have been less, but the utility DTE puts a cap on that, so they give me a $3 credit saying you sold us too much, we don't want to buy that much, so we're going to give you credit for the dark months. So that's an overview of the system. The combiner box goes near the electric components, probably in your basement, the shutoff switch near the meter, the panels obviously on the roof, and all the other components are pretty well hidden. Most of that is wiring and connections, that kind of thing. I'm going to keep track of this for a year before I try to determine a payoff. With the 26% tax credit, it's a whole lot shorter than it would have been without it, but it still seems to make sense. At least that's what I'm forecasting. Okay, the next video is going to have to do with the battery backup system that I am building myself for surprisingly cheap.